Welcome to Echo 103, Study Session 9, International Trade and Balance of Payment in Nigeria. Introduction. Every country in the world depends on the global economy for inflows of human and financial capital, technology, imports of goods for production, for consumption, and as a market for its output and investment. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Analyze international trade and balance of payment issues as it affects Nigeria. 2. Outline the development of international trade. 3. Present the rationale behind international trade. 4. Present Nigeria's direction of trade. Meaning of international trade. The study of the economy of the whole world is rightly referred to as international economics. International trade is just one leg of international economics, and the second leg is international finance. Nature has made it that no country in the world can be said to be self-sufficient. All countries, no matter how highly developed, still import one good or the other from other countries. This indeed is international trade. International trade, according to Iyoa and Enugbo, 2002, in an economic, International trade, according to Iyoa and Enugbo, 2002, is an economic force that has spurred commerce, promoted technology and growth, spread cultural patterns, stimulated exploration and colonization, and frequently fanned the flames of war. According to Tajana, 1987, Nigeria is basically an open economy with international transactions constituting a significant proportion of our aggregate economic activity. Notably, globalization has brought about the emergence of multinational firms with strong presence in strategically located markets and a convergence of consumer tastes for the most competitive products, irrespective of where they are made. Features of international trade. Two things are involved in international trade. One is either a nation is obtaining from another nation those goods and services that she cannot efficiently produce, or that such a country is sending to other nations of the world those goods and services which she feels she can efficiently produce. Terms of trade. Terms of trade can simply be defined as a comparison of a country's export and import expressed in prices. Put differently, it means the price at which the export of a country exchanges for our import. Mathematically, we state that the index of terms of trade equals price index of export over price index of import times 100. A country is said to have a favorable terms of trade if the price at which our export exchanges for our import is greater. If reverse of this condition holds, we say that such a country is experiencing an unfavorable terms of trade. The development of international trade. The views that shall be shortly presented under this session are that of two erudite economic scholars, Professor Iyoa and Enugbo. The history of international trade has gone hand in hand with the development of civilization. From the ancient times, international trade brought about the exchange of products and raw materials between one land or nation and another. Although such trade was often conducted in barter form and was of small volume, by today's standard, this interchange of product was important in economic and historical development. International trade in its early beginnings was necessary not just because it provided one society with products such as cowries from West Africa to other areas. International trade also formed the basis for cultural interchange, thus trading not only on product but also in lifestyle, customer, and technology. In addition, international trade prompted the development of monetary system, of record keeping and accounting, and of an entire vocation of commerce. In fact, international trade aided in public displeasure towards usury. One can state that the economic and political development of the entire Western world was spurred on and enhanced by international trade. Another distinct contribution of international trade was the strong promotion given to field of exploration, map making, and ship construction technology. Early international trade routes ranged over vast expanses, thus requiring advances in transportation to make possible further search for new products and markets. Let us not forget, of course, that such a desire for new trade routes, products, and markets was the driving force that launched a full-scale exploration leading to the discovery of the New World. Columbus set out, as you can recall, not to settle in a new nation, but to discover a new trade route to the Orient. The interest upon his return to Europe centered not on his account of forest and soil, but on the new products available, such as tobacco, corn, cowries, etc. As international trade progressed and technology developed, these explorations were to turn up another area of foreign trade, still important today. This was the import of raw materials by a nation and the re-export of finished and manufactured products. As a result, not only were living standards advanced, but national incomes were also increased. Rationale behind international trade. The following reasons justify the need for countries to trade among themselves. International trade makes it possible for a country to get those goods and services that she cannot produce. Human and natural resources are unevenly distributed among countries. Through trade among nations, natural resources found in one country can be used in other countries of the world. International trade brings out specialization and healthy competition among countries of the world. It encourages countries to specialize in the production of those goods and services in which they have the greatest cost advantage over others. It fosters friendly economic relations among the countries of the world. Government generates huge amount of revenue taxes levied on imported goods. Nigeria's direction of trade. According to Fajano 1987, one of the main features of Nigeria's international trade is the predominance of developed industrial economies as customers of our export and suppliers of our import. This predominance is hardly surprising in view of the complementaries of Nigeria's economy with those of the industrial countries. The developed countries import much of Nigeria's primary product, whereas Nigeria imports the manufactured consumer and capital goods which form the main product of export of these countries. Trade policy and development. The needs document agrees that Nigeria is a coastal African country with the potential to become a gateway to much of West Africa and Central Africa. Much of this potential has not been realized because of a number of constraints, which are: 1. The high cost of doing business in Nigeria, which has constrained investment and production. 2. Weak infrastructure. 3. Sometimes poorly implemented incentives, especially fiscal and tariff regimes. 4. Massive smuggling, counterfeiting, and dumping of products. 5. Lack of standardization required for products to compete internationally. 6. Unfavorable international trade rules. Another constraint has been Nigeria's trade stand. Although significant improvements have occurred in trade policy since the late 1980s, policy is still unpredictable, especially in the application of tariffs and exemption, transaction costs at ports, custom clearance procedures, and the use of import bans. Nigeria's balance of payment. For Ajayi and Ojo 2006, the term balance of payment can be defined as a systemic record of all economic transactions between the resident of the reporting country and the rest of the world during a given period of time. They went further to maintain that the major reason for keeping such a record is to inform government authorities of the position of the country in the international trading market, so that appropriate monetary and fiscal actions can be taken when the balance of payment calls for such actions. The balance of payment in the country is said to be at surplus if the total receipt received from such a country's export of goods and services exceed the payment she makes on goods and services she imports from other countries. When the reverse occurs, we say that the balance of payment is in deficit. If the receipt from export equals the payment on import, we say that the balance of payment is at equilibrium. However, Ajayi and Ojo are of the opinion that balance of payment since the 5th edition of the IMF and Balance of Payment Manual 1993 can be divided into two: current account, which we call transaction in goods and services, income and other current transfers, and the capital and financial account, which we call capital transfer account. Balance of payment since the 5th edition of the IMF and Balance of Payment Manual 1993 can be divided into two: current account, which we call transaction in goods and services, income and other current transfers, and the capital and financial account, which we call capital transfer, acquisition as well as disposal of non-produced, non-financial assets and liabilities. Capital transfer now include items previously included in the current account, such as debt forgiveness, foreign aids to acquire goods, and migrant capital transfer. Below is a balance of payment statistics of Nigeria between 1987 and 2007. All figures are expressed in millions of dollars. Balance of payment: 1987, export of goods and services 7,757, import of goods and services 6,689, resource balance 1,058, net income negative 2,770, current account balance negative 1,727, financing items net 1,649, charges in net reserve 78. 1997, 15,661 for export of goods and services, Import of goods and services 12,448. Resource balance 3,213. Net income negative 2,215. Net current transfer 1,841. Current account balance 2,840. Financing items 221. Changes in net reserves negative 3,061. In 2006, export of goods and services stood at 62,613. Imports of goods and services 40,766. Resource balance 21,847. Net income negative 11,254. Net current transfer 3,400. Current account balance 13,994. Financing items negative 97. Changes in net reserve negative 13,897. In 2007, export of goods and services 67,225. Imports of goods and services 49,641. Resource balance 17,584. Net income negative 17,531. Net current transfer 3,404. Current account balance 3,467. Financing items 6,037. Changes in net reserve negative 9,503. Study session summary. In this study session, we explore the origin of international trade, rationale for international trade, and the trade direction of Nigeria. Finally, we examine trade policy and development in Nigeria. This is the end of study session 9. Thanks for listening.